Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations with another design team project for Bramble Fox. Today I'm sharing a back-to-school layout I created with a banner design using a mix of elements from Cocoa Vanilla and Bramble Fox. This year, both our daughter and her fiance are headed back to school, so they took some cute first day photos and sent them to me. I'm going to create a bright floral page for these photos using some items from this Cocoa Vanilla collection. The sunflower perspectives match the colors so well and are going to add to the other florals on the page. I've also grabbed some little bees for this page, and I'm going to be cutting out a Bramble Fox cut file to add as a title. I'm going to create a banner design, so I've cut my photos down and cut a few pattern papers for the banner pieces with a few flags from the collection. I've selected a simple background pattern with a grid around the edges and some little plus signs at the top and the base of the page. Right now I'm laying out the patterns for the banners with those sunflowers and the little tags, trying to figure out where I want the items to go. I'm placing items of like colors together, which is a really simple design technique when you're using multiple colors on a page. The title is going to sit below the photos, so I want to create something that leads your eye to that location. I'm going to bring in the black bees and lay them vertically on the page. I also want to add a little more color to the center of this page. So I'm going to bring in a few Distress Oxide sprays in colors that match the pattern papers. I'm just going to spray some of the ink onto a piece of acetate and use a paintbrush to add some flicks of color. I don't want to add too much on the page, but I want enough that it brings in some texture behind the banners. The colors I chose were Saltwater Taffy, Mustard Seed, and Uncharted Mariner. These match the other items on the page and bring in that little bit of color I need. Now, splattering is a little outside my comfort zone because I struggle with the unpredictability, but I like the idea of having some color behind the banners, so I'm just going to hope that this works out. Now I'm going to bring back the banner pieces and adhere them in place with some adhesive foam backing sheets. I've added some stitching to these for texture, and I'm roughed up the edges with scissors before I stuck them down. At the top, I added some holes with a punch, and I'm lining those up so that I can run some twine through these later on. Now I'm going to add some of the flags and tags and floral pieces. Now you are going to see me play with a couple of different banners here and try to figure out what type of look I'm going for. I decided that less was more on this page because I wanted to make sure that those photos still remained the focal point of the layout. I'm also punching holes in a few of those flag die cuts. This is going to allow me to string the twine through when I start to attach all of those banners together. On the left, I've added 2 flowers that are the same color as the banner, and I've tucked some leaves at the top of the little flag. I've also added a little ephemera piece that says, "This story is so good." I'm also going to tuck some sprigs here under the sunflower, just so it doesn't look like it's just floating there. On the center flag, I am adding florals. Originally, I was going to add a little flag here with a sentiment, but I ended up getting ink all over it when I was splattering the background. Sometimes happy accidents work out because I do like these florals much better, and they allow me to bring more blue to the page. Above the flag, I'm adding a little tab, and then I'll adhere the sunflower in place over the photo with a single leaf. Creating a flowing layout like this is, again, different from my usual pages. I like items to be straight and even, but I really felt like stretching myself today, and so far I like how this page is turning out. Over on the yellow banner, I added a yellow tag that says Simply the Best, and I've tucked some flowers off to the left and added a little circle element that says Take Note. The sunflower is going to be layered towards the top with a few of those little acrylic leaves. Now for the title, I've cut out the words Adventures Start Here using that Bramble Fox cut file. I wanted the words to have an ombre effect, so I cut out the backing from this patterned paper, and I made sure the cut was aligned so that it cut out this area of the page. I'm going to adhere the two layers together using some liquid adhesive, and then I'll add the Starts Here layer that I cut in black. Now, if I had planned ahead, I would have cut these with an adhesive backing sheet on the back to make adhering a little bit easier, but I've found that liquid glue works just fine as long as it doesn't dry right away so that you have a little bit of time to wiggle items in place before they adhere permanently. Before I stick down the title, I'm going to lay this die cut here over to the right. This was cut from the Numbers Borders die out of one of these cut apart cards. And I like how it has this mix of colors that match all of the other elements on the page, and the numbers match the teaching theme as well. I'm going to place the title onto the page with foam tape, and then I'm going to lay a book with some leaves below it. This is going to bring in some more floral pieces and add to the academic theme of the layout. It also finishes off this vertical title that I've added to the page. I'm going to attach the bees in place to make it look like they're flying off the page. One will be above the title and the other three at the top of the layout. I debated only adding 3 bees so that I had an odd number, but I like that group of 3 at the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. Now at this point, my title has quite a bit of weight over on the right because of that numbers die cut I added, so I'm going to balance it over on the left with some hearts and a sticker phrase. This helps finish off that design. I'm going to add a few more items to this page, and then I'll share the finished layout. Here is my finished page that I created to record a first day of school memory for this couple. I strung some twine through the banners and added a few little decorative knots in these to give it some texture. I also added some puffy stickers for color around various elements on the page. This was a fun one to make, and it did require me to stretch myself a little bit. I like all of the layers on this page with those banners and how those sunflowers create a nice flow across the design. The title gives a really nice vertical element on this page, and it was easy to create with that cut file and a few die cuts. If you are one who enjoys pinning projects to inspiration boards, I have added these photos to my website for you to save. Thank you again for joining me as I created another scrapbook layout and shared this memory with you. If you have any questions about this project or supplies I listed below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.